experience with Ava being a positive experience versus a negative experience. If I would say a positive experience, could I get a raise of hands with Ava, whoever interacted with Ava? Okay, without raising hands with the negative experience. So Ava was a multi-million-dollar investment, CX investment tool that enabled a specific organization to serve customers through a virtual assistant, a virtual voice-based AI-driven assistant. And the experience, the return on investment for that banking organization was actually a negative impact on their business outcome, on the financial results. And as compelling as having the right CX and having better CX in an organization is, and we've been going through that over the past 2 days on what are the benefits of having great CX and putting CX measures and what are the different values and outcomes we get of it. But also, we also realize that, yes, we are in a digital era, but we are not in a digital-only era. Humans and human interactions and customer interactions over aided channels is still very key in every organization strategy. And while working as BPOs with a lot of these organizations, when asked what are the top CX challenges that they face, obviously there's plenty, whether it's governance of that CX strategy or the implementation or the technology and so on. One rose to the top out of the 27 common challenges, which is proving a specific ROI, a return on investment, not from a CX perspective, but from a business outcome perspective. And because trying to pinpoint, I mean, to say, okay, if I turn a dial on, let's say, NPS scores, I get a better NPS score by 1, 2, to identify the business outcome is still, I don't want to say a gray area, but it needs to be greater, right? And finding the right CX measure is also very crucial and important to try to identify the ROI on that investment, right? Every executive makes a decision, or executives makes a decision based on value, on those investments, on those values. This is a very basic calculation. My ROI is going to be the benefits versus my costs, minus my costs, and so on. And every business has their own set of values and business outcomes that they want to accomplish. It could be decrease in cost, it could be increase in bottom line, top line, etc. And to try and define and say, this is the CX score that I'm going to weigh or link to that business outcome is still a challenge. And finding that right CX matrix is a lot of organizations implement CS matrices like these that basically start at the performance level of us as an organization, what we actually do and for and to our clients. And this information basically is what is our average handling time, what is the average speed of answer, what's my, etc., what we do within our operations, and which goes into the perception of the customer of how we treat him as a client or how we treat him as a customer and how he thinks about it. And based on that, he makes informed decisions within our organization based on those thoughts and how he feels that directly impact the business from a business outcome perspective. So finding the right CX matrix and linking that operational metrics to a business outcome is what we're going to talk about today, right? And this is a typical journey I'm pretty sure all of us went through, which is a travel journey. And a customer, for example, lands at an airport, his baggage is late, delayed, not in the same place, etc. Calls the contact center, and his experience is based with us as an organization is based on that interaction. He makes an educated decision based on what he thinks on whether I should book again with that organization and so on, which has a direct impact to the business outcome. Now, in this case, we can see a link that with that specific CX measure, which could be how long it will take me as soon as I arrive at the airport to get my luggage, on a business outcome as crucial as revenue and cost to serve. Obviously, cost to serve, if a customer calls the contact center, he's going to spend more time with the CX agent explaining the problem, so the cost to serve will have an impact as a business outcome, and his bookability, again, whether I'm going to use the same airline or not, based on an informed decision of how he felt, how we treated him as an end user or as a client, will definitely have a direct impact on business outcome, which is revenue, right? And to prove that ROI we can dig or we can choose at what level we want to start looking into those CX matrices. You can go on an individual base or a customer base. You can go on an entire business unit, and you can link that with different business outcomes, whether it's overall experience or customer loyalty and so on. And the important part is that we also realize that when trying to prove to CX leaders that this is the right CX investment for you, or this is the right tool for you, it needs to be very defensible. It needs to be very clear that this is the return on investment that we're getting. We, as Data Direct, this is our CX matrix. We focus predominantly, and we have a very big focus on our staff, on our employees, right? We truly believe that, and we touched base in a panel discussion, I think it was yesterday, on employee experience, which has a direct business outcome on every single layer of an organization, whether it is their customer experience, whether it's the journey mapping across the different touch points the customers use. And when I say employee experience, we don't mean just CSR agents or customer experience agents. We talk about leaders. We have a matrices for leaders, HR, recruitment, and how their specific CX score could impact an overall business outcome. And that is what we believe is very important to deliver the best customer experience possible to our clients, right? And we're going to go through an example, but basically what we're saying is that what drives customer experience and how customers feel about us will, at the end, reach a desired business and even a financial outcome, okay? This is a brief example. This is a telecom operator, without going into who the telecom operator is, that we've worked with over the past couple of years in the region. And what we did is we looked at a specific customer segment. We looked at average customer income, average age group. So we kept as much of the segmentation as possible to narrow down to a specific group of audience. And we looked at their NPS score. The average NPS score was 55, which is, for any business or a lot of businesses, this would be a great CX score. And we were able to determine that their average customer spend is 275 dirhams per month per customer, right? And for that organization, we linked revenue to an NPS score. You can do this with other CX scores, but to make it a simpler example, we used NPS score. Now, if you look at, and what we did, we did a top to bottom approach where we looked at the bottom 20% in revenue, top 20% in revenue, and the same average that we had, which is the 275 dirhams. And what we realized that is for every 1 point of NPS increase over the average, you're seeing 2.1% revenue increase, which is across the 22 points in NPS score is 125 dirhams in average from that NPS bottom 20% to the top 20%. And going back to defensibility, some executives that we try to showcase this say, okay, but maybe it's something that happened within that specific month, or that specific, there's something wrong with the tool and so on. So we broke it down into 10 different segments to prove the case. And this is the segmentation by revenue, the bottom 10% and so on and so forth, into 10 specific segments, again, speaking to the same audience, same age group, same average revenue average income per month, to try to have a solid base to work on. And what we realized, and this is the same case that we just looked at, which is that there's an average of a 5 dirham increase per revenue per customer for every 1 point in NPS above average. But what's more important is that when it goes below average, the average loss per customer is higher than the average revenue, which basically tells us that if we dial into this specific customer base with this specific NPS score and try to identify what are the detractors in those NPSs, what are the customers scoring us like way, and work on those, it will give us a financial outcome. It will give us a business outcome that we can tie to and say, this is how much I spent on my CX, whether it is a strategy, a tool, like we said, and this is the financial outcome that we are getting out of it. And we've tested it with different methods. So the first method we looked at was an NPS score. When we tested it with a CSAT score, it gives us the same results, relatively small, different, 2.1 to 2.2%. But whatever CX measure we look at, whether it's overall NPS, CSAT, quality, agent quality, all the way down to agent QA scores, the defensibility is there. The numbers do increase. And this is just a speculation from a numbers perspective. If we look at it from that customer base was 100,000 customers that were less than average NPS score, were 100,000 customers. If they see a 1-point increase, that's a 500,000 dirhams increase in revenue per month for that customer base, for that specific segment. So it's important to link those data points that we have across our organizations, whether it's BPOs or in-house customer experience teams. We are sitting on a ton of data through the different technologies that we work with, whether it's our contact center infrastructure, our customer listing tools, our digital channels. There's a ton of data that we can use. So what we realize is there is a repeatable process where we can link our CX matrices and what our customers think about us. And if we dial into a specific CX score or look at a specific area in that journey, we could increase a specific business outcome. Now, don't get me wrong, the business outcomes could be different for every organization. It could be decreasing cost. It could be, but it is important to create these links, right? So obviously we all have our customer experience scores and measures that we factor into our organizational journey. Two, we need to identify which business outcome matters to us as an organization, and create these links between the CX scores that we have to that specific business outcome, and determine, like we just did, see the percentages and the impact of making a change on that outcome. There's no perfect model. We've been testing and going through a lot of different models that we've implemented in place to create these links between our CX scores and our clients' business outcomes, because at the end of the day, we are a business process outsourcing company. Organizations outsource their entire customer happiness centers, their customer experience centers to us as an organization. So, and the world or the era of a BPO that just provides agents or FTEs or someone to pick up a conversation over whatever channel is no longer sustainable. So we've evolved as an organization to come back with solutions that in some BPO's perspective would cannibalize what we do as an organization and take our headcount down as a contact center company. But we have helped organizations over the past 5 to 10 years when we shifted our focus from just becoming, from being a contact center company to a customer experience management company to determine solutions like these, right? And it's like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I guarantee that if we sit down all in this table today, in this room today, and look at one specific organization and look and agree on a business outcome and look at their CX score, we will be able to link how our customers feel, how their journey is, what they say about us, to a specific business outcome that can be measured. And that is what I was trying to say today. Thank you, because my time is up. They just told me my time is up. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. I know I babble a lot. I'm very excited about this topic, but thank you again. Thank you.